Hi, everyone. This is sort of a follow-up to my video from yesterday. And now that I talked about my negative experiences with women and like bullying and stuff like that, I wanted to talk about all my positive experiences with women and stuff like that. And uh, look, I don't understand how these things developed or why they even happen because again, I think you all can see that I'm not at all what could be considered conventionally attractive. Uh, anyway, um, so yeah, the first story that I want to talk about is my childhood best friend who was a female who, looking back on it, even my parents agree with this, that she was basically, in the way that kids do, had like a puppy love crush on me. But yeah, we had met at church and they just sort of took an immediate liking to me and my family. Um, and I spent a lot of time with her. I knew her siblings. I went over to her house, the whole shebang. And like I think she was my first like actual kiss of any type. I remember one time we were hanging out and her parents took me back and stuff and like I kissed her and she was shocked and like but also we would like cuddle in the same bed together like as 6 to 8 year old and stuff and like I'm pretty sure our parents expected us to get married. Like, unfortunately, after elementary school, we didn't go to the same school, and like I mentioned in my last video, it was impossible for me to go visit her. So, and we also weren't going to church anymore at that time. So, like, I things just fizzled out. Uh, and then another one with another one of my female best friends. This was also at school. This was like fourth or fifth grade, where she was the only one that would hang out with me at recess. Like, and like we would talk, we would just spend time together, right? And like my parents say that she had a crush on me too, but there was never really any behavior that I remember that could suggest that. We were just both outcasts. She was tall and skinny and, you know, mm, she was actively bullied. I wasn't really actively bullied. I talked about that. People just sort of tolerated me, but basically we were both outcasts. And the funny thing is, too, is that I never really treated her as nicely as I could have. Like, one time she let me borrow a copy of Pokemon Fire Red for the Game Boy Advance, and, I was enjoying it, but I eventually lost it, and I, like, gaslit her about it. Like, I was like, are you crazy? I don't know what game you're talking about. And I still feel bad about that so many years later. Like, I've literally graduated college, and that still bothers me. Um, but moving on, um, in seventh grade, there were two girls that had crushes on me that I know for sure. Like, they were, but I just thought of them as friends. See, that's the thing. Aside from my phase of you know what with women that I mentioned, when I interact with everyone, even women, I don't go into it thinking about romantic possibilities. I simply, you know, um see them as friends, and so like that never really crossed my mind. But I got like messages on Facebook saying so and so both want to like be with you around time when I was 13, 14, and I was like, what? Who said that? And like, I was just very naively like, it was obvious they had gotten one of their friends to like drop that hint, right? But I never got it, and I, I could have lost my my innocence, let's say. Gotta keep it clean for so this doesn't get shadow banned. But yeah, I could have done that so much earlier than I eventually did. And then uh there was like in sophomore year there was this girl, and I think she was joking, but it's still worth mentioning. There was this girl that, we would talk, whatever. It was our English class. One day, she turns to me, you know, after small talk, and she says, "Hey, Gabe, can you eat me out?" And like, what do you say to that, right? No normal human being is gonna be like, "Oh yeah, sure." Like, and then she giggled and then turned to her friends. And then maybe senior year? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I stayed in high school an extra year out of my own volition, and I just like did internships and stuff like that. But this is the initial senior year, not my super senior year. Um, there was this girl uh who had to use the elevators alongside with me because she broke her foot. Right, all right, and only certain kids like this. There weren't that many special needs kids, let alone kids in wheelchairs like me. There were only two other ones, but only people who had an injury or like were in a chair like me could use the elevators, right? So, um, I had to ride with this girl for I don't know how many months, and she said she knew about me from a teacher, from a mutual teacher who was a friend of mine, and we did a podcast and everything, and like it was very clear that she was either just trying to get me involved in the school, or like for example, she would invite me to plays and stuff that she was in, and uh like obviously I didn't get the hint, and like her tone of voice, right? Girls, when they're interested in you, their tone of voice changes, right? They make their voice kind of like either really low or really high and like sultry and stuff. And she did that with me. And then one time she even asked me, dropped the hint of like, hey, are you going to prom? And I said, no, I hate prom. Why would I go? And when she asked me about going to her plays, I was like, I'll think about it. I wasn't in a good headspace, right? But like this girl was super fit, super pretty, and like I was like, why would she be interested in a guy in a wheelchair, a regular looking dude, ugly looking dude, like uh and but the biggest thing is that one day we were riding and she makes a joke and she starts saying that she was gonna kidnap me. And I'm not usually smooth, I'm usually extremely awkward, but I don't know what came over me in that um moment. I just said, "Oh, please." And she laughed really hard, clearly flirting, right? Why else would you kidnap someone? Uh, but the last time she ever went and did something that could be interpreted as something more is that she was in college when I was still in high school and she wanted to see me, but I was in a meeting with other teachers at that point and I couldn't. And I mean, I haven't seen her in 5 years. I but I keep thinking that she was in love with me. In fact, I think she bought books for me to use at my first semester in college, which uh that's crazy that a girl would go out of her way to do that for you. She doesn't talk to me though. I've multiple times throughout the years tried to like message her and stuff, and she ignores me. I can understand why, but like, you know, it's just funny. And then after that, honestly I haven't attended school physically, so uh, especially with the pandemic and everything, so I haven't had stuff like that happen recently, but there have been a few examples um where like I was going to get my blood tested at the doctor's office, and you guys know that I like weightlifting, right? And at this point I was bulking, so I was just putting on a ton of mass. And this particular day, this was like a year and 3 months ago. This particular day, the shirt that I was wearing was really form fitting and tight. so you could see it, see my musculature. And so, um, and so I'm here trying to get my blood tested, and this girl, um, I had forgotten where the place was in this building, and she's like, "Are you looking for so and so blood testing place?" I was like, "Yeah, I am." And she's like, "Oh, it's right there." Um, and she, directed me, and I was like, "Thanks." Right? Um, and and I come out, and I'm waiting for someone to pick me up to go home. And I come out, and I pass, she's still out there when I get out, and I pass by her, and she's like very coyly, and like, again, I don't know how to explain it. It's just girls' voice changes when they're clearly interested in you. I guess sultry, but she was like, "Hi," like, and this time I didn't take advantage of that because I was nervous, not because I didn't notice it. I did notice it. I was just like, "Hi," and I ignored her. But the thing is, I think she was in high school, and at that time I was 22. I'm almost 24 now, so like that was another thing. I'm not gonna pursue that. Obviously, she looked to be on a Chromebook, and uh, but yeah, um, she was very clearly flirting. She obviously wanted me to talk to her, but I didn't because of that. And then finally, like 3 months after that, I was out with a friend. We were in some bookstore, and you know how they have like a small DVD section, and um there was this other girl, probably also in high school, um and like I was talking with my friend. We were talking about Evangelion because he wanted to go see the manga and anime section because they were like right next to each other, the anime DVDs and the manga. Uh, and like this girl, very obviously like the sort of, again, tall, pale, languidly girl with platform boots on, comes up next to us, and while I'm talking, she's just staring at me with her mouth like half open, like she was shocked. And it could be because of my lazy eye, I realized that, or maybe like, but I think she kind of wanted me to talk to her. You know what I mean? Like, I've had other girls do that, and I'm not sure why they make that face, but I would rather believe, maybe that's just me though, maybe I'm deluding myself, that it was because she thought I was cute or something rather than because she thought I was ugly. But yeah, those are my stories of being flirted with and missing signals from girls. I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.